Hi everyone and welcome to this video. I'm going to talk about detachment, which is really the one most central and most important theme right now. Detachment can be both very difficult and painful in the process, and it can be very freeing and liberating. And there are so many reasons why we are being asked again to detach from what we are attached to. Energetically, this is because we are releasing resistance and we are opening up for possibility. Now, how does that work? By being attached to an idea, a specific outcome, an identity, like all those different things, we are actually closing our mind, and we know that what we focus on, what we give attention to, what we think about, what keeps repeating, that is what we give energy to. So by being attached to things, we are actually sort of narrowing our mind, and hence we are keeping possibilities out from our experience. Now this does not mean that we are going to be indifferent to things or that we are going to be without the unique expression that we are here to have. It is actually in order to access our own truth. It helps accessing our own truth and our own unique expression and creativity that we are here to give and to be and to have joy with. So how they are explaining this to me is really like they gave me the picture of awakening. Like we are often experiencing awakening in stages, and whether you are just awakening right now or whether you have been awakened for several years, you might have experienced a real experience that there are certain stages, because you're like the whole perception of the world and how you see things and how you see your own past, your own future, how you see time, how like everything is changing, and it can be very challenging at times. Now, as we are working on our beliefs, we see that our belief systems, like the whole structure that we attach to with belief systems and identity, are changing rapidly now, but through the stages we go through in our awakening, those are changing a lot, and it can be both, as I said, freeing, and it can be very painful as we have to let go of these attachments. But as we do that, we actually get to access possibility, we get to access our own truth, and we get to create with our pure energy. We are not being led or structured or being sort of just playing out that same pattern, that playing in the same system as we have always been doing, blindfolded. We are actually accessing the potential. And so I think many times in discussions about detachment, there is a lot of focus on the pain as we are going through, having to detach from things we are identifying with, or people, or all these kind of things, which is a very real thing. It's a real experience. But really having an understanding of why and how it actually frees up energy can help a lot as we're going through that process. And also a lot of the reason why we often go through this in stages are basically because if everything would be like ripped away in like one moment, everything we have structured our life around, everything we have been identifying with, all the belief systems we have, if all of that would have to change like overnight, it creates cognitive dissonance and could in some people also, people are experiencing psychosis and these kind of things. So there are reasons why this is happening in stages. And as you're going through this, having compassion for yourself and having compassion for those people around you is very important. So when we are detaching from something, we're actually releasing resistance. And we know that what we resist persists. So when we are detaching, whether that be, it can be physical ailments or disease. If you keep focusing on it, or it's a pattern, or it's a belief system that we have become aware of, and we want to release this, we want to like get it through our system. It's an emotion that we feel, that we want to like feel through and get through. If we attach to it, and if you keep focusing on it, and this can be very, very challenging at times, especially when it comes to physical ailments, disease, pains, belief systems, these kind of things, because it's like there all the time and we keep being reminded of it. But in order to release it from our system, it's very important to detach from it, because if we attach from it in that sense as well, because we want it to go away, we want it not to be there, we want to fix it, we want to like come through it, by that focusing, we are actually attaching to it. So being able to feel things when it's in the present moment, feel it through, it's very important not to suppress things, but then detaching. Because otherwise, if you keep focusing, we are actually attaching to it, even though we might not want to in those cases. And by holding compassion for ourselves and for others, we are opening our heart. So releasing resistance and opening our heart, that creates opportunities, that opens up for possibilities to come in. And some of the reason why they're focusing on this is both as we are heading towards 21 and what will be coming up at that time. It is also because we're going into, or we have come into, a new stage of awakening in the collective, and this is a natural process in the awakening. And it's also because there's a lot of attachment around December 21st. And they wanted me to use this as an example, because if we overly focus on something and we keep being attached to something is going to happen on that date, I have to, having this mindset that I have to make it right, I have to be able to use that energy, or I have, what is going to happen, and having these expectations and put pressure on yourself and making sure you attend everything that might help you on your path, then you're attaching to it, and it will stop the flow of energy and the potential. So like that, it does not mean that there's no matter whether it's December 21st, right, or another date which is important, or is a portal, or there's a lot of incoming energy, or anything like this. If we are releasing the attachment to it and we are resting into ourselves, it's much easier for the energies to actually enter your system and for you to access your own truth and your own guidance as to if you want to attend something, like some kind of event or energy work or meditations or whatever it might be, to actually feel what you are being guided to attend and what will actually assist you on your path. If we now, so while I'm filming this is the 30th of November, so if I today keep focusing on December 21st, and this is going to happen, and it's 3 weeks away, there's a lot of present moments that I get to grow, that I get to have realizations, that I have to detach from things, that I have to, become more aware of myself, beliefs that will fall away. Like all that time, if I keep focusing on December 21st, I miss a lot of things that is going to happen up to that date, for example. So be in the present moment and not attaching, because we're actually then taking ourselves out of the present moment, and we're also sort of pushing away or letting our focus take us out of the inner guidance that will guide us to what is actually the growth and the best use of the energy for ourselves. The same with wanting to connect with our guides, for example. If you are attached to it's going to happen in this specific way, or I'm going to hear them, or I'm going to feel them, and we have this attachment, it's much more difficult for the energy to actually enter and for us to pick up on it than if we release the attachment and we are just being open and we are being present in our heart space. So yes, they're giving me this example of being overly attached to understanding and to our intellect. And this is something that I have been going through in spirals, like coming back and coming back and coming back over the years of my own awakening up to this point. Because I've had this really deep need to understand things. And a lot of things, like I have had this need to understand it intellectually. And I have learned over the years, they're kind of laughing when I'm saying that because there's still a way to go. But that when I release the attachment to understanding something, I actually open up for the understanding to come in. So it can be very much of a paradox, because we're used to do things in a certain way, to go about things in a certain way. But then when we release that way of doing it, we actually open for it to come in. And being in that place and in that space is what is going, like that's the way we are being asked to go forward. So the one most or two most important things to focus on now is detachment and compassion. I really hope this is helpful for you. If you know someone who can have some assistance or help from this video, please share. I would love to hear in the comments how you're experiencing the energies, and have a lot of compassion, a lot of love for yourself and for the people around you. I'm riding the waves with you all. I'm not at all coming from a place of having it all figured out. I'm very much practicing what I'm being given from my guides with you all. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!